I'm Dylan, a 33-year-old seasoned hiker. I've always loved the solitude and peace that comes with hiking alone. And this time, I set out on a remote trail in the Rockies for a weekend getaway. Little did I know, this trip would be anything but peaceful. The trail started off beautifully, with the sun shining and the birds singing. But as I ventured deeper into the forest, the path became less distinct, overgrown with thick vegetation. I checked my map and compass, confident I was on the right track. Hours passed, and the forest seemed to close in around me. The sunlight filtered weakly through the dense canopy above, and an uneasy feeling settled in my gut. Is this the right way? I asked myself, double-checking the map. The landmarks weren't matching up, and panic started to creep in as the daylight began to fade. I pressed on, hoping to find a recognizable marker, but instead, I stumbled upon an old, abandoned campsite. The remnants of a torn tent flapped gently in the breeze, and scattered belongings lay strewn about. It looked like no one had been here for years. Who was here before me? I wondered aloud, my voice sounding small in the vast wilderness. I searched the site, hoping to find something useful. That's when I spotted the weathered journal, half buried under a pile of leaves. The journal's pages were yellowed and brittle. As I flipped through them, I found frantic, incoherent entries detailing sightings of a menacing figure. The handwriting grew increasingly erratic, with sentences trailing off into scribbles. One entry stood out. He's watching me. I can't escape. He's always there, in the shadows. A chill ran down my spine. Could this be true? I asked myself, feeling a knot of fear tightening in my stomach. Suddenly, I heard rustling nearby. My heart pounded as I turned, and there he was, a gaunt, disheveled man emerging from the shadows. "You're not supposed to be here," he whispered, his voice raspy and filled with an eerie calm. My blood ran cold. His eyes were wild, darting around as if expecting someone or something to appear. "Who are you?" I managed to ask, trying to keep my voice steady. He didn't answer. Instead, he moved closer, his movements jerky and unnatural. I backed away, my mind racing. Was he the one from the journal? Had he been living out here all this time? "Why are you here?" I asked, my voice trembling. "I warned them all," he replied, almost to himself. "They never listened. Now it's too late." My heart was in my throat. I needed to get out of there, but which way? The forest was disorienting, and the fading light made everything look the same. The man continued to mutter to himself, his words a mix of warnings and nonsensical phrases. I turned and ran, my breath coming in ragged gasps. Branches scratched at my face and arms, but I didn't care. I needed to put as much distance between myself and that campsite as possible. The forest seemed to close in around me, the trees looming like silent sentinels. Is he following me? I wondered, glancing back over my shoulder. The shadows danced menacingly, and every rustle made me jump. My mind raced with thoughts of the journal's warnings and the man's eerie presence. I stumbled and fell, my hands scraping against the rough ground. As I pushed myself up, I saw something that made my blood run cold. Footprints. Fresh footprints, leading in the direction I was running. "He's been here," I whispered to myself, my voice barely audible over the pounding of my heart. I forced myself to keep moving, driven by sheer terror. The forest seemed endless, a never-ending maze of trees and darkness. Finally, I saw a faint light in the distance. Hope surged through me, and I ran towards it, my legs burning with exhaustion. The light grew brighter, and I burst into a clearing, gasping for breath. There in the middle of the clearing was a small cabin, its windows glowing with a warm, inviting light. I stumbled towards it, desperate for safety. As I reached the door, it swung open, and a woman stood there, her face filled with concern. "Are you okay?" she asked, her voice kind and soothing. I think someone's following me," I managed to say, my voice shaking. She pulled me inside and locked the door. "You're safe now," she said, guiding me to a chair. Just rest. Everything will be okay." But as I sat there, trying to calm my racing heart, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was still being watched. The forest outside seemed to press against the cabin, and the man's words echoed in my mind. "You're not supposed to be here." As the night wore on, I couldn't help but wonder if I'd ever truly be safe again.